A casualty isn't breathing normally and needs CPR. At what rate should you press down and release on the center of their chest? 240 times per minute. 60 times per minute. 10 times per minute. 120 times per minute. 120 times per minute. A collision has just happened. An injured person is lying in a busy road. What's the first thing you should do? Warn other traffic. Make sure the injured person is kept warm. Treat the person for shock. Place them in the recovery position. Warn other traffic. After a collision, someone is unconscious in their vehicle. When should you call the emergency services? After you've woken them up. As soon as possible. After checking for broken bones. Only as a last resort. As soon as possible. An adult casualty isn't breathing. To maintain circulation, CPR should be given. What's the correct depth to press down on their chest? 5 to 6 centimeters. 1 to 2 centimeters. 15 to 20 centimeters. 10 to 15 centimeters. 5 to 6 centimeters. An injured motorcyclist is lying unconscious in the road. The traffic has stopped and there's no further danger. What could you do to help? Seek medical assistance. Remove their safety helmet. Remove their leather jacket. Move the person off the road. Seek medical assistance. An injured person has been placed in the recovery position. They are unconscious but breathing normally. What else should be done? Place their arms by their side. Check their airway remains open. Give them a hot sweet drink. Press firmly between their shoulders. Check their airway remains open. At an incident, a casualty is unconscious but breathing. When should you move them? When bystanders offer to help you. When bystanders tell you to move them. When there's a risk of further danger. When an ambulance is on its way. When there's a risk of further danger. At an incident, a casualty isn't breathing. What should you do while helping them to start breathing again? Shake them firmly. Put their arms across their chest. Roll them onto their side. Open their airway. Open their airway. At an incident, how could you help a casualty who has stopped breathing? Try to give them something to drink. Keep their head tilted forwards as far as possible. Follow the DRABC code. Raise their legs to help with circulation. Follow the DRABC code. At an incident, how could you help a small child who isn't breathing? Talk to them confidently until an ambulance arrives. Find their parents and explain what's happening. Put them in the recovery position and slap their back. Open their airway and begin CPR. Open their airway and begin CPR. At an incident, it's important to look after any casualties. What should you do with them when the area is safe? Ask them how it happened. Give them something to eat. Keep them where they are.
Move them away from the vehicles.
Keep them where they are. At an incident, someone is suffering from severe burns. How could you help them? Apply lotions to the injury. Burst any blisters. Remove anything sticking to the burns. Douse the burns with clean, cool water. Douse the burns with clean, cool water. At an incident, someone is unconscious and you want to help. What would be the first thing to check? Whether their vehicle is insured. Whether they're comfortable. Whether their airway is open. Whether they have any allergies. Whether their airway is open. Following a collision, a person has been injured. What would be a warning sign for shock? Slow pulse. Warm dry skin. Rapid shallow breathing. Flushed complexion. Rapid shallow breathing. There's been a collision. A motorcyclist is lying injured and unconscious. Why should you only remove their helmet if it's essential? You could scratch the helmet as you remove it. They might not want you to remove it. Removing it could let them get cold. Removing it could make any injuries worse. Removing it could make any injuries worse. There's been a collision. How can you help a driver who's suffering from shock? Give them a drink. Reassure them confidently. Ask who caused the incident. Offer them a cigarette. Reassure them confidently. What could you do to help injured people at an incident? Keep them warm and comfortable. Give them a warm drink. Keep them on the move by walking them around. Give them something to eat. Keep them warm and comfortable. What information should you share if you're involved in a collision that causes damage to another vehicle? Your national insurance number. Your internet service provider. Your occupation and reason for your journey. Your name, address and vehicle registration number. Your name, address and vehicle registration number. What should you do before driving into a tunnel? Switch on your windscreen wipers. Close your sunroof. Take off your sunglasses. Switch off your radio. Take off your sunglasses. What should you do first if your vehicle has broken down on an automatic railway level crossing? Get everyone out of the vehicle and clear of the crossing. Walk along the track to give warning to any approaching trains. Try to push the vehicle clear of the crossing as soon as possible. Telephone your vehicle recovery service to move it. Get everyone out of the vehicle and clear of the crossing. What should you do if a tire bursts while you're driving? Pull up slowly at the side of the road. Pull on the parking brake. Continue on at a normal speed. Brake as quickly as possible. Pull up slowly at the side of the road. What should you do if an instrument panel warning light comes on while you're driving? Continue if the engine sounds all right. Hope that it's just a temporary electrical fault. Deal with the problem when there's more time. Check out the problem quickly and safely. Check out the problem quickly and safely. What should you do if you have to stop while you're going through a congested tunnel? Pull up very close to the vehicle in front to save space. Keep a safe distance from the vehicle in front. Ignore any message signs, as they are never up to date. Make a U-turn and find another route. Keep a safe distance from the vehicle in front. What should you do if you see a large box fall from a lorry onto the motorway? Pull over to the hard shoulder, then remove the box. Stop close to the box until the police arrive. Catch up with the lorry and try to get the driver's attention. Go to the next emergency telephone and report the hazard. Go to the next emergency telephone and report the hazard. What should you do if your vehicle breaks down in a tunnel? Stand in the lane behind your vehicle to warn others. Switch on hazard warning lights, then go and call for help. Stand in front of your vehicle to warn oncoming drivers. Stay in your vehicle and wait for the police. Switch on hazard warning lights, then go and call for help. What should you do if your vehicle catches fire while you're driving through a tunnel? Leave it where it is, with the engine running. Drive it out of the tunnel if it's safe to do so. Park it away from the carriageway. Pull up, then walk to an emergency telephone. Drive it out of the tunnel if it's safe to do so. What should you do if your vehicle has a puncture on a motorway? Pull up on the hard shoulder or in an emergency refuge area and call for assistance. Pull up on the hard shoulder or in an emergency refuge area. Change the wheel as quickly as possible. Drive slowly to the next service area to get assistance. Switch on your hazard warning lights. Stop in your lane. Pull up on the hard shoulder or in an emergency refuge area and call for assistance. What should you do to reduce the risk of your vehicle catching fire? Check out any strong smell of fuel. Use fuel additives. Avoid driving with a full tank of fuel. Keep water levels above maximum. Check out any strong smell of fuel. What's the first thing you must do if you have a collision while you're driving your car? Call your insurance company. Stop at the scene of the incident. Stop only if someone waves at you. Call the emergency services. Stop at the scene of the incident. When are you allowed to use hazard warning lights? When stopped and temporarily obstructing traffic. When traveling slowly because you're lost. When traveling during darkness without headlights. When parked on double yellow lines to visit a shop. When stopped and temporarily obstructing traffic. Which document may the police ask you to produce after you've been involved in a collision? Your driving license. Your theory test certificate. Your vehicle service record. Your vehicle registration document. Your driving license. Which lights should you use when you're driving in a tunnel? Dipped headlights. Side lights. Front spotlights. Rear fog lights. Dipped headlights. Which sign shows that a tanker is carrying dangerous goods? You arrive at an incident. A pedestrian is bleeding heavily from a leg wound. The leg isn't broken and there's nothing in the wound. How could you help? Give them a warm drink. Keep the casualty's legs flat on the ground. Dab the wound to stop the bleeding. Apply firm pressure over the wound. Apply firm pressure over the wound. You arrive at an incident. There's no danger from fire or further collisions and the emergency services have been called. What's your first priority when attending to an unconscious motorcyclist? Check whether they're breathing normally. Check whether they're bleeding. Check whether they have any bruising. Check whether they have any broken bones. Check whether they're breathing normally. You arrive at the scene of a crash where someone is bleeding heavily from a wound in their arm. Nothing is embedded in the wound. What could you do to help? Walk them around and keep them talking. Get them a drink. Apply pressure over the wound. Dab the wound. Apply pressure over the wound. You arrive at the scene of a motorcycle crash. No other vehicle is involved. The rider is unconscious and lying in the middle of the road. What's the first thing you should do at the scene? Move the rider out of the road. Warn other traffic. Give the rider reassurance. Clear the road of debris. Warn other traffic. You arrive at the scene of a motorcycle crash. The rider is injured. When should their helmet be removed? Only when the motorcyclist asks. Always, unless they're in shock. Always straight away. Only when it's essential. Only when it's essential. You lose control of your car and damage a garden wall. What must you do if the property owner isn't available? Report the incident to your insurance company when you get home. Go back to tell the house owner the next day. Find someone in the area to tell them about it immediately. Report the incident to the police within 24 hours. Report the incident to the police within 24 hours. You're at an incident. What could you do to help an unconscious casualty? Splash their face with cool water. Take photographs of the scene. Move them to somewhere more comfortable. Check that they're breathing normally. Check that they're breathing normally. You're at the scene of an incident. How could you help someone who's suffering from shock? Reassure them confidently. Offer them a cigarette. Give them a warm drink. Offer them some food. Reassure them confidently. You're driving on the motorway. What should you do if luggage falls from your vehicle? Pull up on the hard shoulder and wave traffic down. Stop at the next emergency telephone and report the incident. Stop on the motorway and switch on hazard warning lights while you pick it up. Walk back up the motorway to pick it up. Stop at the next emergency telephone and report the incident. You're going through a long tunnel. What will warn you of congestion or an incident ahead? Variable message signs. Other drivers flashing their lights. Hazard warning lines. Areas with hatch markings. Variable message signs. You're on a motorway. When can you use hazard warning lights? When you slow down quickly because of danger ahead. When you're being towed by another vehicle. When you're riding on the hard shoulder. When a vehicle is following too closely. When you slow down quickly because of danger ahead. You're the first person to arrive at an incident where people are badly injured. You've switched on your hazard warning lights and checked all engines are stopped. What else should you do? Try and get people who are injured to drink something. Move the people who are injured clear of their vehicles. Make sure that an ambulance has been called. Stop other cars and ask the drivers for help. Make sure that an ambulance has been called. You've broken down on a two-way road. You have a warning triangle. At least how far from your vehicle should you place the warning triangle? 45 meters, 147 feet. 25 meters, 82 feet. 100 meters, 328 feet. 5 meters, 16 feet. 45 meters, 147 feet. Your car breaks down on a level crossing. What's the first thing you should do? Tell drivers behind what's happened. Stay in your car until you're told to move. Leave your vehicle and get everyone clear. Walk down the track and signal the next train. Leave your vehicle and get everyone clear. Your vehicle has stalled in the middle of a level crossing. What should you do if the warning bells start to ring while you're trying to restart the engine? Run down the track to warn the signal operator. Push the vehicle clear of the crossing. Carry on trying to restart the engine. Get out of the car and clear of the crossing. Get out of the car and clear of the crossing.